"Tom, I'm pregnant." Tom was stunned into silence. His face paled as he struggled to process the news. Lily feared he might walk away, leaving her to face the situation alone. Lily was a bright and ambitious student, always striving for the best in her academics and extracurricular activities. She had a close-knit group of friends and a loving family that supported her in every endeavor. However, during her senior year, she met Tom, a charming boy from her class. What started as a simple friendship quickly blossomed into a deep and passionate relationship. They spent countless hours together, sharing dreams, fears, and plans for the future. But their young love soon led them down a path they weren't prepared for. One day, Lily realized that she had missed her period. Panic set in as the possibility of being pregnant dawned on her. She bought a pregnancy test, hoping it would bring relief, but when she saw the positive result, her world came crashing down. Fearful and confused, Lily didn't know how to break the news to Tom, let alone her parents. Lily's first instinct was to hide the truth. She avoided Tom, not knowing how he would react, and became increasingly withdrawn at home and in school. Her once vibrant personality began to fade as the weight of her secret grew heavier. Her friends noticed the change in her behavior, but she brushed off their concerns, claiming she was just stressed about exams. At night, Lily would lie awake, her mind racing with worst-case scenarios. She feared her parents' disappointment, the shame it would bring to her family, and the possibility of having to give up her dreams. The fear of judgment kept her silent, and the longer she kept the secret, the more isolated she felt. After weeks of avoiding Tom, Lily couldn't take the pressure anymore. She finally decided to meet him after school and tell him the truth. As they sat in their favorite park, Lily's hands trembled with anxiety. She hesitated before finally blurting out the words she had been dreading. "Tom, I'm pregnant." Tom was stunned into silence. His face paled as he struggled to process the news. Lily feared he might walk away, leaving her to face the situation alone. But after a moment of shock, Tom reached out and took her hand, reassuring her that they would figure it out together. Despite his own fears, he promised to stand by her side. With Tom's support, Lily felt a slight sense of relief, but the fear of telling her parents still loomed large. They decided to visit a clinic for confirmation and advice on their options. The visit made the situation even more real, and the gravity of their decision began to sink in. The nurse talked to them about prenatal care, adoption, and the possibility of keeping the baby. Each option carried its own set of challenges and fears. Lily and Tom spent hours discussing what to do, weighing their options while grappling with the reality of their situation. They knew that whatever decision they made, their lives would never be the same. The stress of keeping the pregnancy a secret began to take a toll on Lily's health. She started feeling sick more often, and the changes in her body became harder to hide. Her parents grew concerned about her well-being, but Lily continued to make excuses, afraid to confront the truth. The weight of the secret was becoming unbearable. One evening, after a particularly difficult day, Lily broke down in front of her mother. She couldn't hold it in any longer and tearfully confessed everything. Her mother was shocked, her face a mixture of disbelief and concern. The conversation that followed was one of the hardest Lily had ever had, but it was also a moment of release. For the first time in months, she didn't have to carry the burden alone. The days following Lily's confession were tense. Her parents were disappointed and worried about her future, but they also realized that their daughter needed support more than anything. They arranged a meeting with Tom's parents to discuss the situation and plan the next steps. The conversation was difficult, filled with emotions and concerns about the young couple's future. Despite the initial shock and anger, both families agreed to support Lily and Tom, no matter what decision they made. This support was crucial in helping Lily feel less alone and more capable of facing the challenges ahead. With her family's backing, Lily began to feel a glimmer of hope for the future, even as she navigated the difficult road ahead. After the intense family meeting, Lily and Tom were left with a difficult decision to make. Should they keep the baby, consider adoption, or take a different path? The pressure was immense, with both sets of parents offering advice, but ultimately, the choice was theirs. They knew that whatever decision they made would affect their lives forever. Lily found herself reflecting deeply on her future. She had dreams of going to college, traveling, and building a career. But now, those dreams seemed distant and uncertain. Tom was equally torn, wanting to support Lily and do what was best for both of them. They spent sleepless nights talking about their options, sometimes arguing, sometimes comforting each other, as they tried to envision what their lives would look like depending on their decision. In the end, Lily and Tom made the decision to keep the baby. It wasn't an easy choice, and they knew it would come with challenges, but they felt it was the right one for them. They were determined to face whatever came their way together, even if it meant sacrificing their own dreams in the process. With the decision made, Lily and Tom began to prepare for the reality of becoming parents. They knew that their lives would change drastically, and they had to start planning for the future. They visited a doctor to confirm the pregnancy and get advice on prenatal care. The doctor's office was full of brochures and information about pregnancy, which overwhelmed Lily at first, but also made everything feel more real. At school, Lily found it increasingly difficult to focus on her studies. Her mind was constantly preoccupied with thoughts of the baby, her future, and the growing changes in her body. She also noticed that some of her classmates were beginning to whisper behind her back, suspecting something was different. The fear of judgment and gossip weighed heavily on her, but she knew she couldn't hide forever. Tom, on the other hand, tried to balance his schoolwork with a part-time job, hoping to save some money for the baby. He felt the pressure of being the soon-to-be father and worried about providing for Lily and their child. Despite the stress, he remained determined to stand by Lily's side and support her through this challenging time. As Lily's pregnancy progressed, she found it harder to keep up with the demands of school. Morning sickness and fatigue made it difficult to attend classes, and her grades began to slip. Teachers noticed her declining performance, and one day, her favorite teacher, Mrs. Parker, called her aside to express concern. Mrs. Parker was a kind and understanding woman who had always taken a special interest in Lily's education. When she asked Lily what was wrong, Lily hesitated but finally decided to confide in her. With tears in her eyes, she told Mrs. Parker about the pregnancy and the fear she felt every day at school. To Lily's surprise, Mrs. Parker responded with compassion and offered her support, assuring her that she didn't have to go through this alone. With Mrs. Parker's help, Lily was able to make arrangements to continue her studies while also taking care of her health. The school counselor was brought in to provide additional support, helping Lily manage her academic workload and prepare for the challenges ahead. Despite the struggles, Lily felt a sense of relief knowing that there were people at school who cared about her and wanted to help her succeed. Despite the support Lily received from Mrs. Parker and the school counselor, the whispers and rumors among her classmates continued to grow. As her pregnancy became more noticeable, the gossip became more vicious. Lily could feel the eyes of her peers on her as she walked down the hallways, and she overheard hurtful comments that made her feel ashamed and isolated. The rumors eventually reached the ears of her closest friends. Some of them distanced themselves from her, not knowing how to handle the situation, while others stood by her, offering their unwavering support. The mixed reactions from her friends left Lily feeling conflicted. She was grateful for those who remained by her side but deeply hurt by those who turned away. Lily's self-esteem took a hit, and she began to doubt herself more than ever. She questioned her decision to keep the baby and wondered if she had made the right choice. The constant judgment from others made her feel like an outcast, but she knew she had to stay strong, not just for herself, but for her baby. As Lily continued to navigate the challenges of her pregnancy, she found unexpected sources of support. One day, a classmate she hardly knew, Sarah, approached her after school. Sarah had heard the rumors and wanted to offer her help. She shared her own story of how her sister had gone through a similar situation and reassured Lily that she could get through this difficult time. Sarah's kindness brought a glimmer of hope to Lily's life. The two girls quickly became close friends, and Sarah introduced Lily to a support group for young mothers. In the group, Lily met other girls who had faced similar challenges, and for the first time, she felt understood and accepted. The support group became a safe space where she could express her fears, share her experiences, and learn from others who had walked the same path. With the encouragement of the support group, Lily began to regain her confidence. She realized that she wasn't alone in her journey and that there were people who genuinely cared about her well-being. The friendships she formed in the group gave her the strength to face the difficulties that lay ahead.
As Lily entered the final months of her pregnancy, she felt a mix of fear and excitement about what lay ahead. The thought of becoming a mother was both daunting and thrilling. She and Tom continued to prepare for the baby's arrival, attending prenatal classes and learning as much as they could about parenting. They knew that their lives were about to change forever, and they were determined to be ready for it. Lily's parents, who had initially been shocked and disappointed, had come around to the idea of becoming grandparents. They supported Lily in every way they could, helping her prepare the nursery and offering advice on how to care for the baby. The relationship between Lily and her parents had grown stronger through the ordeal, and she was grateful for their unwavering love. The day finally came when Lily went into labor. It was a long and difficult process, but with Tom and her family by her side, she found the strength to endure. When the baby was finally born, a wave of emotion washed over Lily. She looked down at her newborn child, overwhelmed by a love she had never known before. In that moment, all of the fear and doubt melted away, replaced by a sense of purpose and joy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel for more. Comment next if you want us to post the next episode of this story.